All right, thanks a lot, Ken, and thank you for tuning into the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. I'm Rich Walsh alongside Gene Collier, and we're here to talk about the Steelers today at camp. Joe Hayden carted off early in camp after his foot was stepped on during team drills, but it sounds like he was okay. I was told he's going to be fine, and he's okay. I think this is what I'm kind of hearing, that he was taken off on a cart because it's a long walk up to the training room. So he sat in the front seat of the cart. He stopped and talked to a couple young fans along the way, was smiling, and I was told after practice it wasn't anything serious. The Steelers said that Joe Hayden was taken in for an evaluation, and they'll have much more on the injury after the Steelers' first preseason game on Friday. So, you know, the one thing is for sure, whether Joe Hayden got injured or not today, he wasn't playing Friday in that first preseason game, along with about every other vet on this team, Gene. But, you know, it was a sigh of relief up in Latrobe today after hearing the news that Joe Hayden was just basically a minor injury.
Well, sure. I mean, that's always the danger in the training camp and preseason and regular season and postseason. People are going to get hurt. Joe Hayden would be, if he were hurt, that would be really bad news for the Steelers. He's probably their best pass defender, so I'm sure you know, everyone is relieved. It'll be interesting to see exactly what the diagnosis is. I don't know why it takes until after the game Friday night, but you know, that's they can do what they want, I guess.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's because Mike Tomlin talked before practice today. He didn't really have an availability after practice. Yeah, they could have put out a statement or something like that, but that's the next time that they talk, so that's the next time that we'll hear anything. But, you know, it sounds like he's going to be just fine. He was walking over to the trainer, limping a little bit, and, you know, I think Jerry reported that his foot was stepped on. I was told that he's going to be okay. It's nothing serious. I think Adam Schefter reported that it was a minor injury, so if you put it all together, it looks like he's just going to be fine.
Even Adam Schefter has to go to the minor injuries.
He's got
to cover every minor injury.
Yep. So yeah.
We thank him for that. Yep.
But I guess some good injury news. I had a chance to talk to Sean Davis today. Mm-hmm. He's back out on the fields, not practicing, but in uniform out there with the team. He had an open wound on his hand, but he told me that he's going to start practicing next week. And he said basically that's the most important week for a veteran to really ramp things up at training camp.
Yeah, I mean, training camp is really almost over before it starts anymore. But yeah, he's right. These next, you know, the remainder of camp from here on out, very important to the veterans. And then Mike Tomlin's got to figure out, he's got to figure out how much he wants to see of them throughout the preseason, beginning Friday night.
So more than likely, we're not going to see any of the vets until that third preseason game in Tennessee. Ben Roethlisberger, he's not going to play in this game. I'd imagine he's going to be out for the next game as well. Josh Dobbs gets to start at quarterback. He'll play probably the first half. If last year's any indication how they rotate these guys, Josh Dobbs will play the first half. Mason Rudolph will play the second half, and then maybe that second game they would flip-flop.
Yeah, that's the way they've done it in the past. You know, it was in I guess the final preseason game last year, Richie, or the third game, that Dobbs played so well that Landry Jones was cut. So, you know, don't go into the notion that none of this means anything. I mean, you can shake up a roster in the preseason if you're at the right position.
No question about that. And when I was talking to Josh Dobbs today, that exact subject came up about how he won a job on the team, not only the backup job, but he won a job on the team with his performance in those final two games, especially in that performance in the final game where they felt comfortable in cutting Landry Jones and keeping Josh Dobbs as the backup. Now, right now, Mason Rudolph, it looks like Dobbs has a leg up on Mason Rudolph in that competition, but hey, we have a few more weeks to go. Yep. Mason Rudolph is the guy that is going to be, you know, if you know, Ben Roethlisberger's a future here for the next 3 years, but they got to figure out what they're going to do with Mason Rudolph. If he's going to be the next guy, he's going to have to be the backup at some point.
Yeah, I mean, those guys are in difficult spots, Dobbs, Rudolph, and, you know, before them, Landry Jones, because, you know, they've got to be ready at all times, but, you know, the likelihood and what everybody hopes is that they don't play. So it's a tough situation to be in.
All right, that's about all the big news going on at Steelers training camp today. Other interesting note, there's still a kicking battle, Gene, and, you know, I thought that was almost like a pretend battle. when we talked about at the beginning that they were eventually going to give that job to Chris Boswell. But both have been kicking well, and Tomlin said today that they're going to rotate every other kick. So I actually feel like maybe after hearing that today that there really is a competition for kicker, and this Matthew Wright guy has a chance to make the team.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a legitimate competition. What I saw at camp was that both of them are kicking really well. So I don't discount it at all. I mean, the Steelers are going to make Chris Boswell earn his bonus. I think it's August 20th that it's now due. But he's got to show them, he can not only kick well in practice, but kick well in these exhibition games. And there is some pressure on him, really. Yeah,
and that's what Mike Tomlin alluded to today, that they haven't really done much in camp. So now the lights are on, and it's game time for everyone. And a lot of the younger guys, that's where I think he wants to see what they can do outside of a training camp environment in a stadium. We'll talk much more about the Steelers. We could also talk about the Pirates, who got throttled again today. They're 4-21 since the All-Star break, and it's just a disaster over at PNC Park. If you want to talk about the Pirates, give us a call. 412-575-2600 is the number. We're back in a couple minutes.